You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Two Scotch Funk Worldwide Lounge. It is Friday night, and you know, I like to party, so I have to get this done early so I can get to bed at a good hour. But yeah, it's Friday. I have not done a podcast in a while, and that's all right, because like I told you, I'm not going to do this on a schedule yet. I don't have enough important things to say to be on a schedule. So I'm just going to release these as best I can. It would be nice to get to a schedule, and I'll keep you posted if you keep listening. So sometimes I'll probably have one listener. Sometimes we'll try to set a new record. But today, and one thing, we're going to talk about grief today, about what you need, because I know exactly what you need. I'm a professional. Neither of those two statements are true. I'm not a professional in grief, and I don't know what you need. But there's lots of people that think they do. We're going to talk about that. Just so you know, not every time we get on this podcast is it going to be about grief. It's not. There's the next one after this probably will touch on it. Yeah, this one will definitely touch on it. But there's lots of things to talk about. We're going to start bringing on some guests. I've got two lined up. I'm looking forward to both of them joining us. So we'll test that technology out soon. Well, let's get to it. Grief. I know what you need. No, I don't. And most people don't. 99.9% of the people don't. That's one thing I figured out when Dad passed is there are lots of experts that know exactly what you need. Well, you know what you need. You need to do this. You need to call me. You need to answer my text. You need to answer my email. Why aren't you answering my phone calls, emails, text, smoke signals, any of it? Because you can't. And you don't have to. There's going to be different types of grief, obviously. Grief is all related, but the triggering events are vastly different. You could lose a parent. You could lose a pet. You could lose a child. You could lose family member, a job, all kinds of different things. A divorce is a loss you will grieve. Believe it or not, it is. And it's a tough one. The trick is each event is so vastly different. Each event affects each individual. And that core word there, individual. Each event affects each individual differently. So you've got a lot of variables in there. Every person is different. Every event is different. It may be labeled the same, but it's different, and it affects those individuals differently. What do we do with all that? Well, there's plenty of people out there to tell you exactly what you need to do. You need to call me. Listen, bro, you need to answer me. Not your bro if you'd have to talk to me like that after a loss. Grief is not something you diagnose and treat. It's not a maintenance issue. It's not like, oh, look, I'm at 3,000 miles since my last oil change. I'll go into the oil change place and they'll tell me, oh, look, Derek, you need 5W30 synthetic. I see it's been 3,000 miles. Easy to diagnose, easy to fix. Done. Yeah, grief's not like that. Sometimes grief will make you sad. What do you do when you're sad? You'll know what to do when you're sad. Sometimes you'll know, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll be raging pissed, just right top angry. What do you do when you're that mad? Only you know what to do when you're that mad. Sometimes you're depressed and wandering and lost. What do you do when you're wandering and depressed and lost? Only you know how to fix that. Now, I will say this. There is a world full of brilliant people out there that can help. But it's one of those tricky things. Not one size fits all. It's not something you learn in college, usually. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting some base knowledge there, but life, from my experience, has been the very best professor I could have ever run up against. One of the things I did, and thankfully I was deep enough into recovery that it was okay, was isolate a bit. When I lost Dad, it was devastating, and I needed some time. I needed some quiet time because, my brain, unfortunately, is noisy enough on its own. Add the proper ingredients, tragedy, trauma, those damned unfortunate and now fully felt things we call emotions, mix in a dash of people meddling, mix in a dash of people maybe behaving in quite unexpected fashion. So then you're dealing with shock, awe, disappointment, anger, all the things. And that isolation becomes dangerous. And it could be. Sometimes people like me crave it so much that it is a danger, and you will lose people. People will leave you alone, and then you wonder why, and wonder why they haven't reached out, and oh my goodness, it's because that's what you've asked for, maybe not directly, but by your behavior. True grief is not a rational situation. You are not a rational person when you're grieving. It's not the loss of a pet turtle or a pet rock, or you didn't scratch your favorite record and you're sad and then you get over it and then it's gone. It's not the same. Completely different. It's the 5 stages, and we'll go through that sometime too. However, the point of this podcast is to be brief, to explain that everybody that's grieving needs something different. None of us, I don't care how well trained, know exactly what that person needs. I think what he needs is this. Nah, that's very difficult to say, very ballsy, very arrogant, even with the best intentions. Even the person in the grieving process has no idea what they need. All I can do is give you the best advice that I have based on the experiences that I've lived. What we need in grieving is different, obviously, person by person. I think the best thing that happened to me was, or that could have been given to me, is the friendships that said, hey, man, I'm really sorry about your dad. Loved him dearly. I'm here. If you need something, I won't bother you. If I don't hear from you for a long time, I'll check in, but there's no pressure. I love you. I'm here. That's the best we could do. That's what I needed. I needed to know. And even though you do know that your closest friends and family are there, sometimes that little reassurance that sparks that little piece in your brain saying, okay, you're not losing these people because of your chosen path. Maybe it's isolation. Maybe it's distance. Maybe it's, a change, a drastic change. That little reassurance is there. Another thing, Dad taught me this when I was younger. Everybody's going to flood you with condolences and love and caring and all the kind of attention you could ever dream of immediately after the loss. It's overwhelming. It's amazing, but overwhelming. It's what we do for those people in grief later that really is important, because all of a sudden, all the people that are at the celebration of life or funeral or whatever the moment is, at the bar with you after your divorce, that moment's going to go away. And those people are going to go back to their normal everyday lives. And your life that is now changed forever is going to continue in a different path that you are unfamiliar with and not always able to cope with and handle. So as a friend, you would say, my recommendation is, always be there in the beginning. Help them through that shock. Help them through that initial moment. But don't forget to check in. Don't forget to come back. It's the later moments that are really tough. So be there for that. I will wrap this up by saying I finally figured out exactly what I needed after Dad passed. I know exactly now. I can give you 100% clarity what I needed. And what I needed was the person I lost. I needed Dad back. That was the only thing that was going to fix this. Is grief forever? Yep. Yes, it is. So far, so good. It's 100%. Every day is grief. It's not sadness. It's not madness. Sometimes it's happy. I'll pick up my phone, I'll see something cool and take a picture. And I'm like, man, Dad would really like this, and text it. And it makes you feel stupid, but don't feel stupid for loving somebody that hard. It's cool. It's a great feeling. Yeah, it's sad knowing that he can't see it. But that fact that those people, those pets, those moments are still there with you, that's so key. So I figured out what I needed back. I figured out how I would fix my grief. Well, it's not real practical. It's actually impossible. So the next episode, we'll talk more about what to do to fix it and how to protect yourself, because there's going to be some surprising moments in grief, and we'll talk about that next. Hopefully you come and join me again. Hope you've liked this podcast. Normally a Friday night wouldn't be the night to record, but it just seemed like a good one tonight. So thank you for joining me, and we will talk to you next time.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.